started dancing ballet when I was 4. What started as just a class I had to go to when I was young became a big part of my identity. Through ballet, I learned grace under pressure, sometimes under pain even. It taught me to move with purpose, when to slow down, when to take a leap, and when to strike. It didn't just allow me to express myself. It taught me patience, empathy, and self-acceptance, flaws and all. It showed me parts of myself I didn't know existed. It guided me to a journey of self-discovery. Where there is art, there is something to unfold. And in Bohol, there's a lot to discover and unpack. Links to its history, the values of its people, and what they consider important. Join me as I learn more about this island province through its architecture, food, and artists. Behold, Bohol. If you're looking for the ultimate island life experience, Vita Isola Leisure Farm in Loon, Bohol is the place to be. Complete with an organic garden, aqua farm, and a breathtaking view of the sea, it's easy to fall in love with this place. My exploration started with me learning how to cook 2 of Vita Isola's specialties and Loon's native dishes. The Ball Anon favorites, binago and bat pinakurat.
Good afternoon! Welcome to Vita Isula, ma'am.
Thank you po. So ano po yung gagawin natin today?
Ngayon, ipakita ko sa inyo yung pagluluto ng native delicacy ng Loon, Bohol, which is called binago.
Binago.
Binago is made from shifted cassava grapes.
Okay.
The cassava like this.
Opo.
And then, ang pag-process nito, pagluto, we boil the water.
Opo.
Pag ano na siya, boiled na siya.
Ano po tawag dito? Sa lalagyan? Pot. Meron po
Pot
kayong...
with perforated coconut shell. This one is perforated
so gawa po
coconut
siya
shell.
sa coconut shell.
So that's why we call this binago. Kasi yung Bisaya and the coconut shell is bago.
Okay.
Bago. So,
bago.
we call this binago. So this is cassava.
Okay.
I-cook ito sa
Ilalagay niyo po.
dito sa coconut shell, this perforated coconut shell.
May mainit na tubig po sa loob.
Oh. Boil water na siya.
Wow. Paano po kayo natutong magluto ng binago?
So natuto ko rin sa mother ko. Andun yung mother
talaga
sa
po.
mother din niya.
So pinasa-pasa lang talaga po. So ate, hanggang ngayon ba pareho pa din yung recipe or may binago din kayo?
Wala. Ito lang
Pareho
talaga.
pa din. So walang binago sa binago.
So this is the result, ma'am. Long time ago, yan ang ginamit ng mga great-great-grandparents namin na
Opo.
pang substitute for rice or corn.
Let's have a taste. Binago is often served with bat pinakurat, which I also learned how to make.
Hello po kuya. So ano po yung gagawin natin today?
I'm here to show how to cook sea cucumber in Bisaya. Bat pinakurat.
Bat pinakurat.
Yeah.
Sea cucumber. Okay. Okay
bago
po.
ko siya natin manito ma'am. Linisin muna bago siya hiwain. Pagkatapos natin hiwain, mamarinate na natin lagyan ng toyo at suka.
Okay. So ito na po siya na nakahiwa-hiwa na.
Pagkatapos naman, naghanda po ko ng mga ingredients. Ito po siya ma'am.
Garlic, onions, red bell pepper, tsaka sili.
At sal. Ginger at pagkanindot.
Okay.
Here's how to make Vita Isola's modern bat pinakurat. Heat up 3 tablespoons of oil, saute the minced garlic, then add the onions. Toss the red bell peppers.
Kuya, ano yung mabango sa Bisaya?
Humot.
Humot?
Humot.
Humot.
Time to add the star of the dish, the sea cucumber. Then add the ginger and pork and beef.
2 to 3 minutes. Ito itong pag
2 to 3 minutes lang. Okay.
ma-overcook siya. Baka matigas na kainin.
Ah, talaga? Mabilis lang pala siya ma-overcook.
Kaya,
Okay na.
yun ang tikman.
Time to try it.
Lami kaayo. Food, I believe, can tell us the values and the culture of the people who make it. And these dishes can tell us that early Bolanons maximized the resources they have on the island to come up with their native cuisine. Some works of art are born out of necessity, after all. Bohol is home to a number of historic Spanish-era churches and structures, including the Punta Cruz Watchtower in Maribojoc. This is one of the towers in the defense system of the early Bolanons against the Moro raiders coming from Mindanao. An impressive architecture meant to protect people from danger.
This was built purposely to watch over, parang bantayan.
Opo.
Kasi marauders coming from the Mindanao Sea. So when yung nag-ano dito, yung guardian na assign dito will make some they get a bujong
Shell.
A shell, I see.
to warning the inhabitants
Oo.
na may marauders na coming in.
I see.
So they all run to the mountains
Ah.
Yeah. to seek refuge, and then on daytime they use the smoke to signal off the other tower,
I see.
the Panglao Tower, the Dawis Tower, and also even in as far as Argao. In Cebu.
I see.
On night time they burn yung fire para na rin sa to warning them na may marauders coming in.
Wow. Ang galing.
Kasi yung marauders, they usually get children and women
Opo.
to be sold out
I see.
as slaves. That.
So it's
Parang business
protection.
din.
Oo. Oo nga. It's very nice that they did this to protect. Ang ganda. I mean, it's beautiful because I love that it's very artistic pa din, hexagonal siya, na ang creative talaga nila, no? So that they can see all
Yeah,
points.
all points of that.
It's very smart, and after all these years, it's still so
Yeah,
strong, no?
Even after the 2013.
Yes. All
And
the
that's the
natural
outcome of the
calamities.
2013. That's the uplifted regions. It used to be a seawater down there.
Ah, I
Yeah.
see.
Bohol tilted.
Really?
Yeah. Tilted.
Bohol tilted. This part of Bohol went up, and the other side
Which
down.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I
So
see.
it's the elevation is
the seaward water is, I think it's 50 meters going from here down there.
Oh, I see.
And this is not only the town that covers the
from
uplifted
Maribojoc, Loon.
and Loon, the neighboring.
I love how, parang this really adds to the character of Bohol, no?
Yeah, my talaga story.
Oo. Tsaka parang hearing that story makes me feel like protective talaga yung
Yeah.
mga taga-Bohol, no, of
Tapos
their
yung
people.
namin dito, the people's organization, they are always aware about the conservation
Yes.
of the
Opo. Actually, being here, yesterday lang po kami dumating. But then, after meeting a lot of your people, I can tell that you guys are very united. Lahat kayo very proactive.
Yeah, that's
From Pao pa lang, she's very active in Bohol. Lagi siya nandito, participating with you guys. So parang it's nice to be part of that. Kahit konting days lang kami. It's so nice to see. It reminds me of home.
After that, I met amazing Bolanon dancers and the theater actors and watched them perform.
Ang Bohol din, ginamit din ang arts and culture bilang pagbibigay ng pride sa mga Boholanos. Kasi dati, ang notion kapag Boholano, mga helpers sa Manila. Pero noong panahon ng 1996, ginamit talaga nila ang arts and culture para ipakita na merong ipagmamalaki ang mga Bohol. pagpapalabas ng mga kwento ni Dagohoy na isang talagang tumayo laban sa mga Espanyol. Ang mga productions, mga sayaw, mga kanta tulad ng Love of Children's Choir na napanood niyo din kagabi. So ito yung pagbibigay ng arts and culture sa pride of place ng mga tao, sa saka sense of identity.
There are a lot of things going on in the world, everywhere.
Yes.
Pero when I dance, I feel like it's only, it's just me
Yes.
with my group. I feel peace.
We call ourselves as vanguardians because in the ancient times, vanguardians are ancient warriors or soldiers, and in times of battle or wars, they are so in front of the line because they are the best skilled warriors. So we call ourselves, we're the new generation of vanguardians in dance.
Yung rason ko po kung bakit ako nagpupursige at nagpapatuloy na sumaya kasi I want to inspire young students, young children, because I was able to finish studies po because of dancing. I was a scholar way back in college.
Wow.
So for me po, hindi po hadlang na mahirap ka para makapagtapos ka ng pag-aaral po. If you have the will and determination to finish, then marami pong paraan na pwede nyo pong gawin po.
Sining na may puso. Kasi sa salitang Bisaya, kasing-kasing ay heart. Tapos Tagalog, sining. So, sining na may puso. Ang pangalan ng piyesa ay Identity Crisis. So, it's an exploration ng ating mga kabataan din ngayon sa kanilang mga kinakaharap na mga bagay.
Natatakot siyang ilabas yung totoo niya po, kung sino talaga siya. So, kanina pinalabas po namin kung paano po niya pinaprocess ang sarili niya para niya ipakita sa mga tao na ganito po ako, na proud po siya sa sarili niya. Nung namatay po yung mga magulang ko, so yung pagsasayaw po ang tumutulong sa akin para mag-let go, para makatulong na kaya kong ipakita through dancing na I'm strong man, na kahit wala na silang dalawa, kaya ko pa rin tumayo sa dalawa kong mga paa through dancing na ipakita ko sa mga tao na ito po yung kakayahan ko.
Ang galing nilang sumayaw, and hearing their stories, why they dance, the thought process behind their pieces was so inspiring. After the performances, they taught me how to dance the kuradang, a Bolanon folk dance that's usually performed in weddings and fiestas. Now, with music. Kuradang has also been a huge part of Bohol's celebration of the Sandugo Festival, a commemoration of the blood compact between Bolanon chieftain Datu Sikatuna and the Spanish invader Miguel Lopez de Legazpi. Rab and I learned more about this treaty of friendship at the Museo ng Pamana at Kasaysayang Boholano in Laway. As the name would suggest, the exhibit in this museum took us through the history of Bohol, from the Spanish era, the American times, the Japanese invasion, up to the devastating 2013 7.2 magnitude earthquake.
I'm Perlina Alo, the officer in charge of the Museo ng Pamana at Kasaysayang Boholano dito sa Luway, Bohol.
Yes.
As one of the museums of the National Historical Commission of the Philippines.
Yes, so we are here now in Laway. This year we are celebrating the 500th year of since Magellan arrived here, first in Mactan, but also here, diba, dumaan nga po sila. So can you tell us more about that po and the blood compact as well that happened?
Okay. Diba, during the expedition of Magellan, they were looking for the Spice Island hanggang dumating sila sa Pilipinas. It was March 16, 1521. It was in Giwan, now Giwan, which is part of the island ng Giwan, the Suluan, the Humonhon, and then part of Leyte de Masao hanggang dumating sila sa Cebu. But may account daw na nagsabi na unang dumaong sa Bohol, pero more or less hindi sila bumaba, whatever. And then from Cebu, di ba napatay si Magellan doon, and also his men. So ilan na lang ang natira. Kaya isa sa mga barko na sinasakyan nila papaexit na sana sila sa Cebu. So dinala nila within the Bohol waters, within this Maribok Day. It was May 2, 1521.
Yes.
So that's why on last March 16, we had this groundbreaking of the marker of Maribok and to be unveiled on May 2.
Yes.
Kasi doon sinunog yung barko na yun, na Conception ang pangalan.
Tapos pati po yung blood compact, which is also one of the things that Bohol is known for.
Yes.
Pero earlier po you were telling us na ideally, kala po natin na it happened in Tagbiliran. Tagbilaran, sorry. But actually, nangyari po siya dito sa Laway.
Yes.
So can you tell us more about that po?
Nung una, even kami o even ako, akala ko kasi Tagbilaran, kasi nandun yung revolto niyan. And then later on, siguro 20 years ago, more or less, nagkaroon ng thorough research kung saan talaga. Kasi may mga questions doon nakita nila na it was in Luwa because it was mentioned then. And then, especially daw, may na-mention from Hagna, parang may na-mention sila na miles away kung saan sila, pwede silang mag-anchor. May isang isang tao na marunong mag-Bisaya o marunong makipag-usap sa mga natives ang nagsabi na dito. Parang kasi na-inland itong lugar. Nakaganyan siya Tapos bay na siya. So doon sila. So parang natago, something like siguro for weather condition. And then hanap sila ng pagkain. Kaya doon sila nag-dock sa area na yun. Natawag natin na Hinawanan Bay.
I see.
And, during the time din, kasi may kingdom na din nung time na yun, nung lugar na yun.
Opo. Before all of that
Yes,
happened.
pero yung blood compact kasi was not happen on the land, doon sa barko na San Pedro.
Opo.
So, nag-blood compact din sila, but it's not the first blood compact among the Spanish or the foreigners. So, unang nalaman natin, unang alam natin by history, na dito sa Pulso, kinuha dugo.
Opo.
But nalaman lang natin by research na sa Picho.
Dito po.
Dito talaga.
Opo, earlier nga po, may nakita kaming painting, may portrait na, nandito nga po yung sugat, may dugo pa nga, diba? So that's another thing to note na it's very interesting kasi these little details, para sa akin, importante to kasi this is a part of our culture talaga, especially here in Bohol. So, talking more about po the Spanish when they came here po, we can see that talagang yung contribution nila mainly was Christianity, especially here in Bohol. So can you talk more about that po? Paano po siya how did it add to the culture and the character of Bohol?
At first, kami mga taga-Bohol at mga Boholano, at first wala kasi account na may religion na. Kasi wala naman talaga before. So we have this babaylan, that's why I mentioned about ang Blot, and the rest of the babaylan. So walang sabihin natin religion. So until dumating itong mga Spanish, then in 1596, kasi after Legazpi kasi, after days na nagsay sila sa Bohol, hindi sila tumagal dito sa atin. Pumunta sa Manila, gano'n. In 1596, nag-request, may isang nag-request ng papadala ng pari. That's why in 1596, dumating yung dalawang Jesuita. November 17, 1596, Oliver Padre Juan de Torres and Gabriel Sanchez. And that's the start na bininyaga na yung mga natives natin.
I see.
And actually, si Sikatuna, walang binyag kasi wala pang religion before.
Opo.
Na binyagan din siya during the time. Kasi parang may nagsabi niya from Luway na magpabinyag ka ganito. Kasi bibili, hanggang ngayon nga, kung wala kang binyag, bata walang binyag, sabi magkasakit, pabinyagan mo na yan kasi umiyak na ganyan. So may faith, gano'n na siya. So imagine from 500 years ago, hanggang ngayon nandito pa rin yung Christian faith natin.
Yes, oo.
Na it was instilled to us by our conquistador, hindi naman sa invaders, yung sa atin, nagsakop sa atin.
Opo, tsaka nakikita din natin yan sa around Bohol, maraming mga churches na kilala. So talagang nakikita natin na Christianity is really here. Talagang kasama talaga siya sa culture ng Bohol.
During the 2013 earthquake that rattled Bohol, the majority of the historical churches were severely damaged. The Santa Monica Church in Albuquerque stood strong, with only its ceiling and original retablo destroyed. The National Historical Commission and Bohol Rehabilitation and Rebuilding Program headed the restoration of these damaged churches. and the community of artists was instrumental in bringing this church back to its previous glory.
So, walang-wala yun ha. You might think na meron yan. Walang kahit ano dyan sa altar. Just bare wall. So, this church was never noticed before kasi we had Lobok, we had Baclayon, we had all those great, beautiful churches. So, walang pumapansin dito kasi there was nothing inside. And we've noticed na while they were doing the ceiling painting and these pews, we noticed that yung mga carpenters, they have some hidden ability na to carve. So we tried to push them. So the first ginagawa nila yung lectern. Sabi ko sa parish priest, sige, keep on pushing. Sabi niya, wala tayong resources. So we were able to mobilize the community. Community naman tumutulong. Earthquake came. Sabi ko, this is the best opportunity. The best opportunity because there was nothing in Bohol. Sabi ko, heritage will never be dead for as long as there are people who are willing to work together. Because it's the people who creates heritage. It's people who creates history. Not the place, not the anything, but it's the people who make it. So indeed, that very ambitious plan is now translated into reality. How we did it, with only one seasoned carver, trained by Architecture and Fine Arts of the University of Bohol, Architect Torero. So they were guided on how to do things, and then hanggang natuto sila, and this is their output, as simple as that. And all these are made up of mostly mulave and ipil-ipil. And these trees, these woods are made out of those trees which fell during the earthquake. So we asked permission from the DNR if we can make use of this. So no waste. It appears to be a tragedy because the trees fell, pero it's being perpetuated through the works of human hands. There's no garbage at all if you use your imagination. And that's arts, culture.
The Santa Monica Church now also serves as a training center for wood carvers, also known as the Albur wood carvers. The Spanish-era church has a series of arches that connect to an old convent. During our visit, it was used for an exhibit of paintings made by Bolanon artists. It was incredible to see a collection of paintings that capture the essence of Bohol and what it means to be a Bolanon. Talking to these painters, I felt their pride for their home, their culture, and their identity.
Artists here sa Bohol, usually, as you have noticed, very in tune sa culture and tradition here. Ito, same pa din pang Serena.
Fishing.
Still shows like the life here in Bohol. It's very, kasi yung life here sa Bohol, chill lang eh. So, hindi siya masyado, di kagaya ng other places na may nightlife.
Yes.
Hindi siya, hindi siya very busy. So, if you wanna retire, you can stay here, you can move here. And I actually think a lot of people choose to retire here because it's so quiet.
Yeah.
So, if you're looking for nightlife or kumbaga mga ganun, wala iyan masyado dito, I guess. So, it's just very chill. Chill ang Bohol.
Yung title po nito is Heartwork. I love that. I love that.
Thank you.
Alam mo, as an artist, I believe that art is really, it comes from the heart,
Yeah.
diba? I think we can all agree na kahit anong art form, parang kulang talaga yung art kung hindi mo nilagyan ng puso eh.
Kung hindi mo siya nasa puso yung gawa mo, wala talaga.
Exactly, oo. Kaya ako sobra kong na-appreciate yung mga artists all over. So I'm glad to have met you guys. Kasi I like being able to see how people interpret themselves. So ito nga yun. Ang galing po. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your stories with us. Thank you, sir.
God bless you.
We actually have like a female-run art group on our art collective, and she's one of the people who makes it possible for young female artists to include themselves in the world of arts.
Oh, that's
so
lovely.
we're really
I
glad
love
we
that.
have her as well. Actually, she was one of the people who introduced me to join
really?
the arts collective. So she helped me find my passion in art as well. So I'm really thankful for her for that.
Thank you so much po, Ate Jackie, for doing this. Nakakataba ng puso.
I would like to show how Boholano artists we can make this. Like
Yes.
here I have a piece The inspiration for this, the Albor locals, they make clay pots, the traditional ones with potter's wheel. Because now modern days we use the one with the machine. We just simply like doing that.
With your hands lang.
Well, this one is the locals they use
Manual po talaga.
And then that portion there is the how to make puso. Puso. Inside we put the rice.
Okay.
Then we do this thing, some kind of like that. Yeah, then it's famous for the barbecue.
Opo.
During night times here.
Oh, I see. So,
And
yes po.
yeah, this, a drive off between I use earth tones and going to the modern.
Yes po.
The transition. I don't know will I stick to the traditional or going to the modern.
Ako po, personally, I like both. I don't know, kasi I really believe na parang the reason why we should appreciate different kinds of art is because that's a way a person expresses themselves or a part of their culture, their emotions, yung dreams nila, depende yun eh. So, kahit anong style, I think kahit hindi mo masyadong type, i-appreciate mo pa din because there's always beauty in it, tsaka laging may storya.
Meeting the Bolanon artists somehow felt like home. They were so good at welcoming us, not only as guests, but almost as if we've known each other, as if we were family members through art. My eyes and my heart are so full. 7 years after the earthquake that tested Bohol as a province, comes the COVID-19 pandemic, another challenge Bolanons and the rest of the world is facing.
So the quarantine, particularly the lockdown, has significantly affected all of us, not only the youth, because the youth is vulnerable because of the personal challenges that they are facing, puberty, changes in the body, changes in the mind, changes psychologically, and challenges in the family. All of this now become magnified because of the restrictions and the limitations that are imposed, particularly on the youth.
To give hope to the youth in the midst of the lockdown, the Bohol Arts and Cultural Heritage Council created the DASIG program. With the help of their homegrown talents and power of social media, they broadcasted performances on Facebook to entertain the youth and to remind them that they are not alone. The artists were compensated and given a platform to showcase their talents, and the Bolanon youth watching from home were given a space to have a sense of community despite the isolation. Kind of a win-win situation if you ask me. This program then evolved to become Bohol's Laong program, an accessible and holistic intervention program for the empowerment and well-being of the youth and other vulnerable groups.
So, yung Laong Bohol may 5 na programs, which is Amoma, Moamping ug Moamoma, which is to take care.
For intervention.
Yes.
So, it's counseling.
I see. Oh, that's so good. Oh, I think that's so important, no? Especially nga during the recent times. It's been such a downfall for yung nga, mental health, maraming nahihirapan.
Maraming uncertainty.
So it's so nice to know that the Boholanos are doing what they can to help each other out, mas lalo na with mental health also.
True. Next is Abiba, which is
Aviva.
Let's go.
I see.
Do advocacy campaign, participation, youth volunteers. So we gather youth volunteers in every municipalities we go. That's it for Aviva.
Yeah,
Okay.
peer support group. If meron gustong magpa-counsel, dun ka. So we will give you that service.
Perfect.
Okay, so the next is Duwa.
Okay, Duwa.
Duwa.
Sports.
Sport.
So, yes, it's a Visayan for sports.
That's Duwa.
Yes.
Okay. So, meron kayong mga...
Yes, we perform every Saturday, Sunday mostly. We have at the old airport here in Bohol, we do some bikings, running, duathlon, like that, to encourage the youth to be physically fit and mentally healthy.
Yes.
Wow.
Oo.
Yes.
Yes.
In the pandemic.
So
What is Bansai? So Bansai is all for training. So we mostly cater out of school youth to have training, for
livelihood,
agricultural. That is
I
Bansai.
see. Oh, I see.
For
I see.
Laom. And lastly is Dayag.
Dayag.
So it's the art and culture of Bohol. Dayag means in English it's to express.
Express.
Yes,
I like
to
that.
express. So ano yung na-struck ka while you're discovering things here in Bohol, most especially here, the arts and culture here in Bohol?
Right.
Hindi mo malilimutan talaga.
Actually, mahirap yung tanong na yan because everything talaga from the day we arrived to today, and I'm sure until the moment we leave tomorrow, talagang everything about Bohol is so captivating talaga for me. Aside from the beautiful structures, because I also appreciate architecture so much, I can really see, of course the arts and the culture, but I can really see how the Boholanos, how you guys are so integrated with your culture, your home. And nakakataba yun ng puso because I feel like may mga taong, especially people I know, feeling ko kulang yun eh. Kulang yun sa mga youth natin ngayon. Diba? That's why I think people can take inspiration from Bohol and the Boholanos to see that you should be proud of who you are, where you come from, and what your home is, and empower it even more, diba? So I think it's so important, arts and culture, because a lot of people see it as just something to look at, something to watch, parang performance lang para sa kanila. But then I think arts especially, it's a way of expression, diba? It's a way of helping yourself and helping the world understand who you are, and maybe even understanding yourself, diba? Provinces and cities, states all over the Philippines, all over the world, can look at this, what we've shown in this episode, in all our episodes, that being open with your arts and culture, especially being appreciative of it and your heritage, sana you can look at Bohol and the Bolanons as an inspiration to really give more importance to what you have in your beautiful place, in what you have that you can offer to help others and to help yourselves. Sobra akong na-inspire dito sa inyo, sa lugar, sa Bohol. And I've only been here a few days. So what more if I lived here?
Wow.
This little paradise on earth is simply majestic. And seeing how protective the Bolanons are of their history and culture deepened my admiration for the province and its people. If Bohol were a person, she's profoundly beautiful. And knowing the stories and broader context of why Bohol does what she does, what she's been through, and how she's moving forward, gave a whole new depth to the phrase, "That's beautiful."